Question number 19. This one we bombed. We bombed badly. This is the classic swimming pool question, and no, this is not the first time you've seen it. You saw it on a review, you saw it on a quiz, you saw it on a test. Marge wants to build a swimming pool of uniform width. Let me draw out the picture here. Okay. Yep, here's the pool. She has 1,700 square feet of concrete to create the sidewalk. What should be the width of the sidewalk? So it's a uniform width. They show you that the length and width of the sidewalks are all X's. And then we have a 100-foot pool and a 60-foot wide pool here. All right, so what is the area of that? We're not going to put any concrete for the sidewalk inside the pool. We're looking for the area around the pool. Well, you have 4 squares in the corners. They are squares. What is the area of a square? Well, it's length times width. So every one of those 4 squares is going to be x times x, which is x squared. You got 4 of them, so that is 4x squared. And then you've got some rectangular areas. You got these rectangles here and here. Each one of those rectangles is x wide and 60 long, so 60 times x is its area, so those have areas of 60x and 60x. And then you have these lengths. They're both 100 times x, 100 times x. So that's 100x plus 100x. And that's going to equal the whole area, which we said was 1,700. 1,700. Okay, so that's the equation you have to solve for x. I'm going to have to erase my beautiful drawing now. And I'm going to combine those like terms up here. 4x squared. 60x plus 60x plus 100x plus 100x is 320x. Equals 1,700. I have an x squared on there, so what's that mean? It means it's a quadratic equation. Quadratic equation. Now, you can solve this using quadratic formula. I strongly suggest you don't. I strongly suggest you don't. It's going to get you some pretty big numbers. This question is factorable, so this is a good time to review our factoring. If we're factoring it, we got to have 0 on one side of the equation, so move this 1,700 over. So 4x squared plus 320x minus 1,700 equals 0. And every one of these coefficients is divisible by 4. I'm going to factor out a 4, leaving me with x squared plus 320 divided by 4 is 80x. And negative 1,700 divided by 4 is negative 2, what is that? 44. Is that right? That's not right. Alright, I have to get out my calculator. It's late at night. Mr. Quarters having brain freeze. 1,700 divided by 4. 425. I should have known that. 425 equals 0. Alright, so we just have to factor this out. Now, some of you really might want to do quadratic formula if you're not very comfortable with multiplying in your head very quickly. You may think that I'm not multiplying in my head very quickly because I had to break out my calculator. X squared can only split up as x and x. Negative 425, they give me cross products of 80, wind up being positive 85 and negative 5. Those multiply to be negative 425, but they cross products do add up to 80. So that's how you factor it. And then do you remember what to do? This isn't the answer. We're not going to use 85 and 5. We set these equal to 0. And our answers are going to be x equals negative 85 when you subtract 85 from both sides, and x equals 5. But the only one that makes sense, we're dealing with lengths. is x equals 5. We can't have a negative length, so the correct answer was choice A, x equals 5, and that was choice A. I just said that. Didn't do very well on this one. This is one of the more difficult questions. This is a quadratic equation question. Question 20. Which ordered pair is the solution to the graph system? You're just looking for, let's see if this will work here. You're just looking for which of these numbers, which of these ordered pairs fits in the shaded area. So is it -2, -3? It is not -2, -3. That's down here. That's not in the doubly shaded area. Is it -1, 2? So 1 to the left and 2 up. Now it appears to be close to or on a line. If it's on a solid line, it is part of the solution. So the correct answer on that one was choice B. But I want to look at choice, which one is it? Choice C? Is that the one I want to look at? Yeah, choice C is 1, -3. That's on a dotted line, okay? I don't know if you can see that on here very well. There you go, right there, right where that red dot is. That's coming from my camera. That is a dotted line. Dotted lines are not included in the solution set, so that's why it's not that choice. Okay, so the correct answer on that one was choice B. All right, we're halfway done. I am going to take a water break. I will be right back. And I'm back. So we're now on question number 21. What is the vertical asymptote of the graph of y equals log base 4 of x minus 3? Vertical asymptote. All right, let's talk about asymptotes. Y equals log base 4 x minus 3. Remember, on logarithmic equations we have vertical asymptotes. So the basic logarithmic equation, there's your axes, would look like this. Would come in very, very steeply right next to the y-axis, and then kind of shoot off like that. That's a basic parent graph, or your mother function of a logarithmic equation. Okay, but we're shifting. We're shifting 3 units which way? It's 3 units to the right. -3 goes to the right. That's the part that seems backwards. So if we shift this asymptote 3 units to the right, it's now over here, and that is that's the line x equals 3. X equals 3, that is choice C. A lot of people, more people, actually went with choice A. They went with x equals -3. Remember, -3, horizontal shift, negative numbers go to the right, shift to the right. Okay, so if we get that fixed, there'll be well over 75% of you getting that one correct, and that would be a good thing. Question 22. Company's profit relations manager needs information for an ad campaign. The monthly profits are in the table below, so you won't be able to see it below on here. You can see it on your paper. Which would best emphasize the success of the company? Well, the one that would best emphasize the success of the company would be the measure that is actually the largest. So you do have to find the mean, median, mode of that set of numbers. The mean is you add all the numbers together and divide by how many there are. And when you add all the numbers together and divide by how many are, that would actually give you the bigger number than the median or the mode. The median is the number in the middle after you order them. The mode is the number that appears the most often. The range is not going to be used at all. Range is not a measure of central tendency. The range is the highest number minus the lowest number, and that doesn't really give you any significant value on this one. So the correct answer on this one was the mean, and again, a very large portion of you got this one correct, which is why I'm not showing it on the whiteboard. 23, got another big group of you got this one correct. What is the value of x in the equation below? This is kind of basic algebra. I'm going to run through this one very quickly. 2 times 10x plus 8 minus 1 equals 5 times x minus 6. Distribute. 20x plus 16 minus 1 equals 5x minus 30. Got combined like terms. 20x plus 15 equals 5x minus 30. Subtract 5x from both sides. And I'm going to go ahead and move my 15 over here in the same step. You might have done it in different steps. That's a 0. So 15x equals negative 45 divided by 15 divided by 15. And the answer to that one is x equals negative 3, and that was choice A. And everybody that's in Algebra 2 should be able to get that correct. 24, how are the functions f and g alike? Okay, functions, f and g, that's just the name of the functions. So you got function f on top, function g on bottom. How are they alike? They both have 3 real zeros. Real zeros are the solutions to the equation. That's what we call a zero. That's something we would get to hopefully after the EOC. The first function, the function f, does have 3 zeros. It has 3 solutions because if you set all of those equal to 0, you would get 3 answers. Function g also has 3 zeros because x to the third power tells you how many zeros you're going to have. Tells you how many zeros you're going to have. So they both have 3 solutions. The problem is do they have 3 real solutions? And that's not necessarily true. They do not have 3 real solutions. There are 2 imaginary solutions on function g, and quite frankly, hate to tell you this, you guys just aren't quite ready to solve that, to find the imaginary solutions of a cubic equation. That's something that we just can't get to. So choice A is not the correct answer on this one. The correct answer is choice B. They are both cubic functions. They're both cubic functions because they both have an x to the third power. If you multiply out function f, you would get x to the third power on that one as well, and that's a cubic function. A lot of you chose choice D. You called them exponential functions. They're not exponential functions because the x is not in the exponent. The x is not in the exponent, so that's what makes an exponential function an exponential function. So again, the correct answer on that one is choice B. 25, if x equals 2 and y equals 3, what is the value of that equation? So we have